Hi everybody, welcome to this week 4 and we're looking at loops in Visual Basic 2008. Okay, I've already set up my form and to show you what it does, if I hit the for button it will do a loop from 1 to 10 or a counter from 1 to 10. If I hit the do button it'll do exactly the same thing, and if I hit the while button it'll do exactly the same thing. And then obviously I've got an exit button. I've got buttons set up, I've got labels set up for each of the individual loops, and I'll just show you that. So a button do, a button exit, a button for, a button while. I've got that label 1 is just for the choose loop type. Then I've got a label do, label for, label while. So that's where I'm writing each of the numbers for each of the different kinds of loops. Okay, so if we start off with the for loop, I'll just show you that. I've declared a byte, named it X, typical kind of standard lettering for loops, and it's a local variable. So with the for loop we'll have an understanding of the start point of the loop and the end point of the loop, so we can set those. They're prefix loops basically. So we know that the start point, well, we want to count from 1 to 10, so we know the start point is 1 and we know that the end point is 10, and then all I have to simply do is put my command in to write to the text box. I've named my text box label for. Okay, so if we just go back to our program, there's the for loop. Let's click on the do loop. There's the do loop. Doing exactly the same thing, only the difference is it's been written to a different label, and I've coloured him to show the differences between the two. Okay, same thing again. I've declared a local variable. I've got the start point of my loop, the do command if you like. I've got the end point of the loop until x equals 10. That's where I set the end point. The start point I haven't set actually. I know that if I declare a variable it will always define it as 0 if I don't put a definition statement in myself. So knowing that, and I want to count from 1 to 10, I can increment it by 1. X plus equals 1, in other words add 1 to x, and then I can write my actual command, the label do.text display command basically. So I'll just go through those again. Okay, and finally the while loop. There's the while loop in a pinky purpley colour, and if we look at the while loops have the condition at the top of the loop. Again, I've declared a local variable, so I say while, slightly different this time. I'm saying while x is not equal to 10 because I want a while loop asks the question first before it actually executes. So there is a possibility with a while loop it may not even execute. With the other two loops they should execute at least once. So the while x not equal to 10, again I know that x has not been predefined as a value, so I've incremented it first. So in other words it will start at 0, I add 1 to it, so it will be 1 when the label while.text command is executed. And just to show you those things, so for loops, do loops, while loops. Okay, just before I leave you with those thoughts, a couple of things. Remember what I said, this is a predefined prefix loop. We know the start point, we know the end point. Okay, this is known as a post check loop. In other words, it will execute at least once, the do loop, and then it will check the condition after it's executed. So it's a post check loop. And a pre-check loop, the while loop, checks the condition before it actually executes. So there's a chance with the while loop that it may not even execute at all. Okay, have a play around with those loops, maybe change some of the values, make them count differently, and then watch the next video where we'll look at how to use loops in a particular problem. Okay, thank you very much.